So here I am watching this guy that does great work fixing motorcycles. And I remember that yesterday or day before, my brakes, my front brake, all of a sudden stopped working. And it turned out that it was the plunger in the handlebar brake reservoir that had gone bad. And I took it to the mechanic. I said, is there a fix or do you have to replace it? He said, well, there is a kit, but it depends whether the inside brass plunger is pitted or not. So he tried to put the repair, and it didn't work, I guess. So he put in a new one, and now it breaks fine. He said, but the problem is, the reason it blew out is because the caliper down at the wheel, it's the pressure when you apply the brake is blowing by, so it's creating back pressure, which is causing the upper one to blow. I said, well, do we need to fix that or change that? I said, well, eventually, yeah, because otherwise the same thing is going to happen. I said, well, see if you can find a used one, because the new one was like 800 pesos, which is like $25. And it's like, well, if you can find a used one. So I said, okay, let me look around. In the meantime, he had gone ahead and replaced the front reservoir with the whole plunger and the whole nine thing. And I treated him pretty good. I give him, the trail mix and all that I buy from the United States. And I gave him a little box of those solder sticks, connectors. So I said, well, how much do I owe you? He said, well, the part was 280. And I only had 250 or 500. I said, well, do you have change? He said, no, how much you have? I said, 250. Okay, well, that's fine. So I gave him 250, and he checked everything. He adjusted the carburetors. They were running a little too fast, and now it idles perfect. And he readjusted the chain that was a little tight. The other guy is not as good as mechanic as he is. He's the owner. And everything out the door cost me $7.25. With a new part, which is incredible. In the United States, if you had to go buy a new brake caliper, the brake reservoir, with the whole shebang, it would cost you at least $40-50. So things are cheaper here in many ways, not just in food, not just in rent. I'm looking at houses in Leon that are really nice houses, 3 bedrooms, 2 bath, garage, some with air conditioning, some with not, for $250 to $500. So it's a whole different thing. I'm thinking of moving back to Leon, seriously considering it, because there is so much more stuff to do, and it's close to the ocean, like 15 minutes away by bike, or 10. And if I have air conditioner, then it's fine, I was able to walk around just fine. It was just hell in my room because there was no air conditioning. So if I can take care of that issue, then I'm perfectly good, going out in the heat for 2, 3, 4 hours, but then having a place to come back to that's nice. But yeah, like, I figured if I spend $500 on rent with air conditioning, utilities, and all that, it's still very nice. And it'll be a nice house at that point. 3 bedroom, 2 bath, living room, dining room, big kitchen, so forth and so on, with air conditioning included, the electric bill. So we shall see. But I was amazed. It's always like, the only thing, I have to buy a new tire for the rear is getting pretty low. And that's like $75 for a tire here, which is about the same price as the United States. It's not, well, it's a little cheaper, but not that much cheaper.